Welcome, Exiles? What am I doing? Hey, Exiles, and welcome to another episode of Brothers in Exile, a Path of Exile 2 podcast between two in real life brothers. I am Talkative Tri, and this is my brother, my co-host, Cast on Comet or Cat Ears. How are you doing this final night before 0.5's launch, my man?
I am filled with anticipation. I have been waiting for this day. I've been waiting for this day before it was announced. All right, I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm just ready to go in it.
PTO booked.
PTO is booked. It has been negotiated with the wife, and the team has been informed.
Okay.
So we got the two most important people. All that. Also, my child should also know I'm on PTO. So hopefully he understands that. Though I'm not sure how he can understand as a 4-month-old.
4-month-old.
4-month-old. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I just want to say I've been so hyped for this day, and now I got to wear cat ears.
Yeah, you do.
Thanks.
You're right. We'll talk about
the. Died.
We'll talk about the race a little bit later in the episode. But yes, my brother and I did race each other, casted by Crimson, and I kicked his butt. It wasn't even close. I mean, we'll talk about it more later in the episode, but I just want everybody to know it wasn't close, and I smashed him. Okay. All right. Yeah. So Comet patch notes. Last time we talked, it was right after the announcement of 0.5. Patch notes are out. What was your take on them?
So the first thing I did was I looked at Comet to see how badly it was nerfed. It survived. Comet is still there. Damage is slightly decreased, but it's still totally there. Then I looked for cast-on effects, still there. So we're good. We're hanging in. We're locked in, honestly. So because I had a build in mind, and I'm like, I want to do this build. Will patch notes kill the build? So I'm not gonna lie to you. I specifically went to the sections where the build could die, and it's not dead. So okay. I'm happy. Patch notes were awesome. They were great. And then I went through and read patch notes. Yeah, okay. Sure, cool, awesome, great.
Okay. Any big surprises for you? Because for me, the Divine Orb change was pretty interesting, because this is something we kind of discussed a lot in our prior episodes about how we thought the temple would evolve, and the temple is core. And it does have its own Atlas tree, and it is impacted by your Atlas general tree and everything. So now Divine Orbs are more common, and there's going to be a bigger sink for them because of the way corruption now works in the game, and you'll want to be divining unique items more and more often, or just general items more and more often. And then 2, the dopamine of all the divines from the temple is not going to be present anymore. So they kind of wanted to make divines more common, so players who play for that div per hour, maybe like yourself, maybe not, are happier playing the general game. What was your take on that specific change?
Oh, that was awesome. As soon as I saw that change, I took a screenshot and I sent that directly to you, underlined, because to me, 0.4, and this is controversial, and I've said this before, and people are going to yell at me and whatever, who cares, right? 0.4 had the best economy out of every single league, because, divines were almost worthless. Temple was printing them over and over. But it showed me, and it showed a lot of other players, that going for raw divine drops isn't always the way. Go for the other items. And it allowed me to actually investigate to see what items increase in value over a league. What are inflation resistant? So honestly, having more divines drop, I think is going to be better for the game. Because would you rather have half of what 0.4 was or what 0.3 was? Because 0.3, Rakiana's Flow was 26 divines, but in 0.4, Rakiana's Flow was around 200-ish divines. It fluctuated up and down pretty much, right? I would rather have access to way more divines and things be a little more expensive.
I don't like what they did. I wasn't a fan of the change.
Really?
I don't like that. Yeah, I just, it's going to just cause inflation, and they literally, I know that there's a sink, okay? But if they're more common, like Divine Orbs, they used to be that awesome tank that you would get seldomly while mapping. Now they're not going to be that anymore. I guess that'll be replaced by other items, but it also was I don't know. It was a little weird to hear them say, yeah, you know, people are going to have their receptors of dopamine essentially impacted from Temple League, and we didn't want people to feel bad. I don't know. I feel like that's a slippery slope to follow. But I'm an advocate of nerfing power and everything, giving a little bit more friction in the game in general. So I can see why like you're a fan of the change. A lot of people are a fan of the change too. So, and obviously there's going to be the actual sync in the game. Divines didn't have a sync before, so maybe it'll kind of equal it out, you know, because a lot of people will be using Divines. They'll be more valuable, and we don't know how common they are. Like, it probably won't be nearly as common as a Giga Juice Temple, right? I'd estimate, honestly, like maybe 2.5, 3x more common in map drops than before, but we'll find that out soon enough.
Yeah, I mean, like as you said, there's more divine syncs here, right? Because previously the divine sync was getting implicit modifiers before you corrupt an item. That was kind of it, and then it was also like sanctifying, and that was kind of really where your divines went. It wasn't really any other location, right? So I honestly think that like having these divine syncs, it might yeah, we might get more divine drops, but the amount of divines in the supply might just come crashing down to where 0.3 kind of was. Maybe a little bit more than 0.3.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, more divine drops, doesn't this make solo self-found easier to play and more accessible?
A little bit, if you're looking to min-max stuff with divining your items. Because, I mean, divining items, it's the last thing you're going to do on something, right? It's
the first thing. One of the first things.
Well,
like for normal crafting, last thing. For unique crafting, it might be your first thing.
I more so meant like you're at your character's end state, and it's like this is the last piece of gear essentially. I don't think you're gonna waste, you know, divines on a stepping stone piece of gear that you're gonna eventually replace. You're gonna be using that divine on, hey, here's the unique item I'm gonna be wearing for the rest of my character's journey. So yeah, I'm gonna be playing SSF, so I won't even be engaging in the economy, but I do think it's gonna be kind of whack and wild. I think players will need to detach away from this div per hour mindset and go more into the 0.4 mindset of, hey, these specific alloys are going to be what you invest in. Hey, these omens from Abyss are what you invest in. And it's not so much the divine orbs that you're hunting, but it's all these different pieces and currencies and crafting materials from these different league mechanics that you're really wanting to get a hold of. And it's not going to be divines. I feel like they're going to be kind of useless like they were in 0.4. We'll see though. We'll see.
I would tend to agree, because like I'm gonna be straightforward, right? You're never going to beat the Giga Juicers who are zerging through maps and getting divines like left and right, and who are actually farming for divines. Raw divine farm is, in my opinion, a losing battle, because you're getting affected by the inflation of the top 10, top 1% farmers who just get thousands of divines in their farming methods, right? So go for those other items. Don't go for raw divines. Go for omens of light. Go for ritual omens. Go for any other craft material that these people seek out. That's where you can really get the value back. I also just want to like push back a little bit here. Yeah, you may not like this change, and you may think it's a slippery slope that like last league was temple, this league is not temple, but divine, like people are like so used to how common the divine is. Let's just make that more common. They can always reduce the amount of divine drops in the next patch. Slowly rein it in. Because, like, yeah, going from like temple to like a low divine league, it will shock players, right? But you can go from temple to a lower divine league to a lower divine league and make that transition a bit easier.
I mean, they can do that, but historically what we've seen, at least from grindier games across the years, is when they make those changes in the core game, every time they, let's say, reduce drop rates of a core item, like divines, like you're saying, after increasing them, there is such backlash from the community that that's why they always try to start with things not being giga powerful, and then they buff them up slowly instead of having them be super powerful and then bringing them down. They like they prefer to under reward players and then buff it up rather than over reward players and bring it down, because the community is like so vicious in the backlash if something like that were to happen, where, okay, let's say Divine Orb drops are 3x this league, but then next league, oh, it's, 2/3 of that. They reduce it down, and then they steadily bring it back down. I don't think that. I think they're just almost setting this as a new baseline. We can see, obviously there's still major shifts that we're leaving early access, going into 1.0 the next patch, but I still think that early access is just a name, a moniker. I think there's still going to be gigantic shifts between each patch. So they can't always change that in the future, but I don't think they will.
I mean, we are currently going through a reduction, but the perceived
but it's not from the base game. It's from an extra league mechanic.
Reduction, right?
They're making they're making an increase in the base game. Like, I think they just are making it divines more common across all content. Divines were only more common in the temple because of the snaking strategy, right?
Yeah. Monster effectiveness, item rarity stacking, and then the multiplication between item rarity of a player versus the temple.
Yeah.
No, it was insane. Like, you could I was talking to some people who play Path of Exile more casually, and I was explaining temple to them, and they're just like, what? You can get up to like thousands of item rarity, and that affects your divine drop. And it was a really insane league. It really was, right? Yeah. So could you argue that divines were too rare for the normal player without temple? Take temple out of the equation, right? Was it too rare for the player?
What is the normal? This gets back into such an interesting debate that we really have no ground to stand on with. Like, who is the normal player? The normal player, according to the average player, according to GGG, spends like 2 minutes 15 seconds on the second sun boss fight in Act 2. Right? The average player, I don't think, will even see a divine in their playtime. So I feel like a lot of the balance that's happening around divine orbs is not even around the average. I think it's around the top 5%, top 10%, because you seldom see divines in the campaign. That's just like a holy crap moment. And then again, the average player might not even know that a divine orb is good, because a lot of them don't even use loot filters. So they don't get the tink. They just get the beep. That's on the GGG basic filter. So I don't know. I feel like this is a specific change targeted at the blasters who were used to seeing so many divines, and they didn't want those people to be nearly as impacted by the reduction in divine orb drops. So it's interesting to see the dichotomy there. It is.
Yeah. We'll definitely see the effects through it, and that's actually going to be something I'm going to be trying to track throughout this league, is to see, like, how's the economy going? What's going to happen here? Oh, someone discovered a new farming method. How did this affect all the other stuff that occurred in it? I'm really, because like we have a really, like, Path of Exile 2 is a really cool economy system, right? It's not just gold. It's these items you farm and drop, and you need to trade them. And there's a general currency, which is the Exalts and Defines and Chaos. And then you have all these other like specialized currencies, and you have these base items. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this league. Do you think a divine should drop in campaign before a player gets to endgame? Because like right now, it is very possible for a divine not to drop in the campaign until you hit endgame.
I think it being possible is fine, but I don't think it should be guaranteed. It shouldn't be seeded. Like, I remember in Interlude 2, or the Desert Interlude, I got a divine orb from one of the wells leading up to the samurai guy fight. I can't remember his name for whatever. The guy who drops Garrokon's Resolve in Endgame. That was cool, but not guaranteed. Always a chance, though. I think that's super cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, like, that's
You think it should be guaranteed?
We'll see. No, not at all. I think it should be like, I think you should start seeing divines, honestly, in Act 3. Let the player start using divines like on their items, and then get to explore what that really means, right? Because Act 1 is just like basics, right? It's all your basics. It's just like, oh, get rare equipment, get like a flask, turn in the Una's loot to the person who receives it. Still don't know who that is. And then Act 2 is like, all right, now we're gonna put the pressure down on you. Think about defenses, because in Act 2 we're gonna try to kill you, right? Because that's what, honestly, the Act 2 boss. If you don't have good defenses, you die instantly there. Yeah, and then but Act 3 is really where things start coming online. Yeah,
but what you just said there, that'll never happen. Here's my opinion on why it won't happen. The divine orbs, at least how they're valued as a player right now, I don't think GGG even wants necessarily the new player to use a divine orb. Who actually wants to use a divine orb? That's a new player.
Yeah. You know what?
And the method that it was meant to be used.
Point.
You know, like they're talking all about people feeling bad that their builds can't clear the farmable pinnacles and stuff. So I feel like their mind almost would be like, they don't want a player to get a divine orb until they have kind of sunk their teeth into the game and they understand that in trade, a divine orb is something that you can sell and then deck out your character in gear, right? Because that's the God's honest truth. You can sell one divine orb for a crap ton of chaos or exalts or whatever, right? When you get to endgame, and you can get gear that will carry you all the way to T15 maps. So I think if they introduce it that early, it could create that like that feel bad moment for players if they end up using it and then they realize, oh my gosh, what have I done? It's like people maybe in PoE 1, I think there's been stories of someone finding a Mirror of Kalandra, using it, not knowing what it does, you know? Kind of like that to a lesser extent. So, but it's a fascinating thing, especially talking about the average player and everything, because I feel like after hearing these statistics from Grinding Your Games, I have overestimated the average player by quite a large degree. And it'll be really interesting to see the direction the game goes after 1.0, because GGG does seem to be really heavily having this player in mind. And that is, I think that's a good thing for the overall game. It'll be interesting to see how it is for us, who I guess, and everybody in chat right now, for the most part, who are above average players and engaging far more with the game. I'm really interested. Like, I was talking with Jazzris yesterday. If I get to the end game on my build in SSF and I reach that first pinnacle, let's say I'm going ritual first, so I get to the Bodak, and I kill that thing on my own build. I'm not using any I'm not a god gamer. I'm not like Quinn69, okay? But for real, I'm not like, you know, Misu or FG Corbin. I'm not theory crafting. I'm just cobbling stuff together. And I kill that boss in 10 seconds. I am going to be dejected. Dejected. Like there has to be a base level of challenge, you know? How do you feel about that? Before we like move on to the next topic, what are your thoughts on this whole like bosses have to be accessible to the average player and like beatable by them? Both the quest and farmable.
Yeah, here's my thing, right? So the quest bosses should be obtainable on a solo self-found build. That is what I think those bosses should be geared toward. Unfortunately, this means for async trade builds or on the trade league, more than likely you're going to melt that boss, unfortunately. But for the pinnacle version of that boss, I think they call it the farmable version now. That boss should be just insanely hard to beat. Not required for progression, but insanely hard to beat. And on Trade League, that can provide a challenge. And on Solo Self-Found, it might be super, super difficult to do it, but you can still do it. You should still be able to do it, right? That's why I kind of say balance the two different levels of bosses against the two different leagues. Quest guy, Solo Self-Found, farmable against the async trade league, right? Because you can't balance campaign against trade. Really can't.
I mean, I agree with the general sentiment too. Like they're not. I don't know if you listened to the interview or not, but the farmable pinnacles are not super hard. They're harder than the quest version, but they're not super. It didn't sound like they're like Ubers or anything, and they didn't want to do that because they want to further balance the game. And they said that they want to set a standard for builds so that you don't need to play you don't feel like you need to play a build that can clear the farmable pinnacles, which I talked about it a lot yesterday, but we can move on. It's an interesting conversation. I hope that there will be some aspirational content in the future. Did you want to add something there?
Yeah, I think that feeling's a fake feeling. You should play wherever you feels fun to you. If a strong build feels fun, go ahead and play that. If your own build feels fun, go ahead and play that. If you make a super ridiculous build and you're gonna try to beat Arbiter or whatever the new pinnacles are, play that, right? I think that it's difficult. I would feel like it's difficult as a designer to try to address that exact issue because the root of the problem isn't in the game itself, it's in the community and in the player.
Right. Yeah, like I said, we'll see it tomorrow, maybe Saturday. We'll see how fast you get to these pinnacle bosses. It seems like that might be pretty swift for the first quest that you focus on. So maybe you or I will have downed one of the pinnacles by then.
Oh yeah, Friday night I'll be downing.
You think Friday night? Really?
Probably Saturday morning at 3 a.m.
Your wife has agreed to this? You're gonna play that much? No way.
Yeah, 100%. Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Listen. I love capitalism. I love making deals. So I get a lot of time on Path of Exile this weekend, and there's other things I got to do for her after. So,
Okay, that makes sense. That makes
yeah.
sense. Okay, any other notes on the patch notes from you that you wanted to bring up essentially, or no? We have plenty of other things to yap about.
I mean, there's so much in the patch notes.
Anything big?
To me, it kind of just blends together a little bit.
Yeah.
So like, let's just go into specific topics.
Okay,
right? Like
cool.
that's probably the best way to go about it.
Okay. So how about the extra info drops, like the new videos? How have you liked those? The runes, obviously, that was a huge video. Lots of crap. You just want to go in. Looks like you're ready to yap about that one.
100%. Okay. So
okay.
First off, those videos that Path of Grinding Your Games is releasing before the league, it like serves 5 different functions. It's actually really cool if you think about it. Okay. First thing, this is the stalling league. We're currently in Stallmageddon, okay?
Yeah.
And this gives content creators to actually talk about things, and it gives players who will be returning to the game a 2-minute blip on a selling point of the league, right? These videos are selling points to play this league, which is really, really cool. It gives you content creators more content to actually, go over instead of just being like twirling their thumbs together, like doing this pretty much, right? And then what I don't think people are really realizing here, it also, after the league has launched, if I get to a part of the game that I don't know what to do or how to do it, I can always go back to those videos on like, hey, what is expedition supposed to be? I'm kind of lost here. And you can kind of go back to those videos and get a little bit of a guidance on like how to actually compete against that league mechanic, right? So like I think honestly, those videos, they're hype building, they're content, and they're also like little reminders during the campaign that you can go back to. They're little recaps. They're just recaps, right?
Yeah. They dropped a video every single day after the reveal.
Yeah. That is insane. That is crazy, right? To me, honestly, this is awesome. This is great. To you, have they ever done this before?
No. That's why I'm kind of flabbergasted with the amount of like just production on this particular league. I think they're very confident in the update they've done here. They want to make this final last push before EA, and cynically, I think it's because they want to sell a lot of early access packs essentially before it goes free to play in December. It's smart of them. It's really smart of them, right? And I think they're going to succeed in that. I think this league is going to have probably the second highest player count. It's going to beat out, I think, Return of the, or whatever, Rise of the Abyssals was number 2. Fate of the Val was lower. 1.0 was 590 on Steam. I think we'll probably get upper 300,000s, maybe break 400,000. I think it's going to be very successful. Because they obviously put a ton of effort into this. It's basically 2 leagues, maybe more than that, packed into one. So yeah, I love the deep dives that they've been going through on the ascendancies and the expedition stuff. And you're right, they do serve as almost mini tutorials on each one.
Yes.
And they're going to be living on GGG's YouTube page forever. So it's pretty sweet. I wonder if they'll do this for 1.0. I reckon they will with Exile Con and all that stuff, but this was quite the lead up to a patch. 100%.
Do you think that this was part of their plan where like, let's go ahead and announce the league, announce what we're doing, then give us 3 weeks to just keep releasing videos to just build the hype train?
Yeah, I
think,
like
typically we get the announcement and then next week we get the league, but it was like we get the announcement at the beginning of the month and now we get to play the league at the very end of the month, right? And really, it hasn't been boring. It really hasn't, because we've had all these little tidbits of like, oh, here's the new ritual, here's the new expedition, here's the new this, here's Kagurin skills, here is runes.
Yeah, they knew that the delay was going to piss people off and they had to fill the gap somehow. So they've done a great job. They have.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. This should honestly this should be kind of standard. And by the way, they did this a little bit with 0.4, where they did release a video on the Disciple, the Sorceress Ascendancy, before the league drop. Now that was a hidden drop; it wasn't in the patch notes beforehand, but they still did a small video on like, hey, here's what to expect with this.
Yeah, well, that was the surprise. That was a surprise drop that they used, during a big game show too, to draw attention to GGG as well. So, do you think they're gonna drop Arcane Archer tonight?
I hope so, man. I really hope so, because like Arcane Archer is like, if they drop Arcane Archer as a new ascendancy,
I don't think so.
tomorrow or later today, if they do that, Obliterator bows are going to be up in price. Exceptional Obliterator bows are going to be expensive. So I'm excited for that one too. Plus, I mean, Arcane Archer, I love Arcane Archer. I play Arcane Archers in every single game I can play in. So I would just be hyped to play the entire thing. Plus, it'll have comment access.
I lost hope. I don't think Arcane Archer's coming anymore.
I know. It would have been today. Right? It would not be tomorrow. It would have been today.
It would be in like 3 hours. They won't do that. Oh, the pre-download torrent is out now, so people can pre-download the patch right now. So there's no Arcane Archer.
No. Unless it's hidden in there.
Hidden Arcane Archer? I doubt it.
Hidden Arcane Archer, right? Yeah, no.
That's for 1.0. They want to close out all the remaining ascendancies, so we'll get the Druid ascendancy, we'll get Ranger ascendancy, and hopefully a new class. So pretty hype. Pretty hype.
Honestly, at 1.0, rest of the classes, drop the rest of the classes, all the classes.
No. Yeah, maybe one.
No way.
I don't even think one is confirmed, honestly. A lot of people are saying it's basically confirmed, and Jonathan like heavily hinted, but I don't think anything is gospel anymore. Like, it can change. If they don't perfect in their eyes the class, it's not dropping. We're gonna just get the axe.
I mean, 0.3 was supposed to have Druid, or was aimed to have Druid, and then 0.4 was supposed to have the Endgame update. So like, I mean, I can see no class in 0.
Yeah.
Right. But we won't know. We won't know until they announce it, right?
Yeah. What do you think about, so I've talked at length about runes and how much I dislike socketables in the past and the problems that socketables had, but this latest, it's just a 3-minute glimpse. I think even in our last podcast, I was like, oh my gosh, there's just so many socketables. Runes of Alder, it's going to be too complex, but this video breakdown that they released 2 days ago showcased that they addressed quite a few problems that I had with socketables before, and it doesn't look as intimidating as I once thought it was. What are your thoughts on just the general overview of runes going into 0.5? Have you had a change of heart too, or?
Change of heart. I was super excited about all this stuff. I was hyped about this, and the main reason is that finally we have other options to put in our sockets. For the longest time, it was like the Iron Rune is the only thing I'll put into my weapon.
Right.
The +1 spell level and then spell damage or spell critical thing is the only thing I'll put into my staff. And then maybe I'll put Spirit in my body armor if I'm feeling fancy, or if I'm playing Blood Mage, maybe I put like the regeneration or the max health, right? I like more options. And these options actually seem competitive to the current best sockets we have access to, right? So I was always in favor of this. And I'm really hyped because, like, there's already like some cool socketables that can do pretty cool things. Like if you spend 2,000 mana, you start recharging your shield every 2-second cooldown. That's a pretty cool one, right? More stuff like that, giving you more access. I like making builds. So like, this is awesome.
I like the crafting runes. I like the ones that open up new pools of modifiers. They showed off the decay ones, which are damage over time. There's like the Berserkers set, the Chronomancer's modifier set. I think those look really fascinating to me. I hope they're not too rare. I hope I'm able to find a couple and roll some fun stuff. It'll make like Exalt and Chaos slamming items a lot more fun in my eyes, because it's opening up, basically, there's something called Influence in Path of Exile 1. That's almost what I see it as. So that really pumped me up. But yeah, I am growing on runes quite a bit in the past 2.5, 3 weeks, because at the reveal, I was just, nah, this sucks. Too many options. And as we've seen more showcase, especially now that I've decided, like, I'm playing SSF and I'm engaging with what I get, like those are going to be the tools at my disposal, I'm far more accepting than if I was in trade and there were, so many different options that I could try to min-max with. Now I get what I get and I use what I get. And I don't know, it makes me more excited to account for them in my builds, I guess.
I don't think this was ever addressed. I didn't see it anywhere. I want to see if there's clarification on this. For the crafting runes that I put into like your armor, can you desocket them and then keep the modifiers?
I don't know, actually. I don't recall if on the rune it's like, cannot desocket, just like the added suffix one where you can't remove it.
Yeah.
Or overwrite it.
They explicitly say you cannot remove the suffix one or the prefix one, right? They never stated that with the crafting rune. So is this like a semi-consumable for like crafters now? And then like after you get your stuff, you take it off and put on the actual things you want. Like that's kind of cool. That's actually kind of cool, you know?
It's socket bound. Chat is saying it is socket bound.
Socket bound?
So it is. Once you put it in,
cool.
You cannot take it out.
All
it
right.
says you cannot. Atlas Gloom.
Thank you, chat.
See, they're linking it to me. It's socket bound. Yeah, I'll just double check. It is yeah, you can't take it out. Once socketed, it cannot be retrieved or replaced. So you lose the ruin slot. But that means that these modifiers will have to make up for it in terms of power.
Yeah, they do, right? 100%. I have a question. Marauder. Is there an ascendancy class in Marauder called Berserker?
Yeah, that's my favorite in PoE 1.
And then the sorceress has Chronomancer. And then we see runes called Berserker and Chronomancer.
Yeah.
Are these like runes like, are they close to like the ascendancy classes?
Nah, because then we have like decay. We have decay.
Yes, yeah, decay. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I think it was just I think it was just coincidence. I mean, maybe we'll get dude, maybe you're cooking, because a lot of people have said decay druid is going to be the third ascendancy.
Yeah. That'd be really cool, right?
Maybe you just
call it poison druid. I mean, it might be, right? Because like, so Path of Exile 2 is starting to add more ways to uniquify attributes and modifiers on weapons, right? There's the one rune that sacrifices the unique to get one of the modifiers.
Legacy of Alder. And
you can put it onto another weapon, right? So there's a lot of like mechanisms in Path of Exile 2 to take something special from something that is like locked down or unique and add it to your own character. Kind of like this Blood Mage has the Spell Leech. The other source of Spell Leech is a body armor you could wear, and that kind of made your character a semi-Blood Mage, right? Are we going to be seeing this in this new leak mechanic where we're going to have like things that were locked behind ascendancy classes, but now we can go ahead and use them? Something that would be cool be like, I don't know, life leech to energy shield. That was a older ascendancy node for Chayula, I believe. But like, I don't know, there's a lot of cool possibilities, and like the thing is, we're all making league starters, but we have no idea on what we could be doing with these runic wards, right? You're gonna go in with your league starter, you're gonna go with your Twister build, because classic gamer going to put Twister, right? I know, not you. I'm talking the general audience, the general people, the people who go play Twister, right? You're gonna go play Twister, and you're gonna find something really cool, and it's gonna be like, man, this is so cool to build around, but this is not at all Twister. And if you find that, by the way, if you have a build and you find something cool that you'd rather play, you should play it, despite it not being optimal. Okay, just do that. Just do that. All right.
100% agree. I mean, you're so beautifully weaving into it, dude. League starter builds. I mean, you hinted that you've swapped your league starter multiple times in the lead up. We are literally 1 day away from launch at this point. So what is it? What is it, man? What's your league starter? You say your first, I'll say mine.
Yeah, so my league starter is going to be a Huntress. And it's either going to be, if I can get Facebreaker, it is going to be a Ritualist Facebreaker, or it's going to be a Wild Speaker to go ahead and do Pokemon and try to do some cool boss stuff. What do you mean what? What do you mean what?
Facebreaker, sorry, okay, so Spirit Walker or Facebreaker what?
Facebreaker Ritualist.
Facebreaker Ritualist?
Yeah, yep.
Why?
Is it optimal? No!
But why? What's the combo?
But why?
What's the combo?
What's the combo? Okay, ready for this? I know 3 mace skills. Actually, I know 2 I know 1 mace skill. So no, the whole thing is that like I played a Hollow Palm Ritualist in 0.3.
I remember.
And that was kind of cool, right? And the quarterstaff skills were kind of cool. However, you can get access to the mace skills now as an unarmed, and Hollow Palm technique adds on to the skills of that face breaker gives you access to, or like at least combo somewhat there. So I think there might be some potential there. And plus, Ritualist actually gives you more benefits to rings because you don't have weapons. So you need some sort of flat damage add, and then that's how Ritualist can go to the flat damage add. Besides for plus levels to everything, right? So for like plus levels to your skill jump, right? So that is one option. If I get Facebreaker, I'm really hoping I get Facebreaker. I might farm a couple zones to get Facebreaker, and I might fail epically there.
That's not happening. I'm trying to talk you out of this. You cannot farm for Facebreakers.
Why not? Dude. Why not? It's stocking that's unique.
Yeah, but there are multiple uniques. Sometimes you don't even get uniques in Act 1. You should just progress.
No. You see, I'm gonna scan the merchant for item rarity. I see movement speed boots, but if I see item rarity boots, I'm taking the item rarity boots instead of the movement speed boots. All right, and I'm gonna be farming the witch. I'm gonna be farming the devourer.
Bira.
I'm gonna be level 17.
Bira is who you should farm over and over, because she has very high. Yeah, you can get uniques from her, so you can keep resetting the zone. You could even chance orbit, dude. Someone in chat. Yeah, you should move through the campaign and just chance orbit. Just chance it. It's like one of the only gloves, if not the only glove base. Oh my goodness.
But and hear me out, right? If that does not go well, the other option is to go ahead and try to play the Spirit Huntress Ascendancy class and try to go a pure minions build.
Really?
And see how far I can push minions, honestly.
Minions? Well, they just got a huge damage buff, 30%.
They sure did. I saw that, right?
Okay. What boss are you gonna try to take?
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
So actually, here's the cooking. Here's the cooking. Okay. Comet has to show up somewhere, and there's a really cool spirit gem called On Minion Death, right? And it's either influenced by like health or power. I think it's just health part, not power. But like it's influenced by your minions dying. Companions are minions. Yes, Infernal Explosion was nerfed, but number 2 is still there, right? So my entire goal is to get a boss as my minion and to have him die over and over and over to spawn comments as that.
What?
It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be god awful. It's gonna be terrible. It's gonna be the worst thing ever, right? And I'm okay with that.
So your plan, tear it apart comments, tear it apart chat. You are going to make a cast on minion death Comet build where you're trying to kill your boss companion?
Yeah. Yes.
But once the boss companion dies, it has a cooldown to resummon, brother.
So that is the cool part, right? So so my question is, like, we don't know how these boss companions really interact with the skill gem. So the bird with the second unique creature that gets spawned out of it, that's a beast. How does that interact with it, right? Because the bird summons the bro,
you'll be casting like 2 comments a minute.
And that's a win.
That's not a win. What do you mean?
That's a win.
What are you going to do, a 30-minute map?
That's a win.
A 30-minute map is what you're going to do?
It's campaign. Does it matter?
I feel like, yeah, you're going to do one campaign zone every 20 minutes. I don't know. Hey, people can watch you stream League Start with cat ears trying to make cast on minion death. My man just trying to freestyle a build with limited game knowledge. I mean, that's 100%, me.
100%.
I would watch that stream.
How do you get game knowledge? How do you get game knowledge? You freestyle and you learn and you make mistakes, okay? It's 0.3. I did not know the difference between cast on crit and invocation meta spirit gems. I didn't know the difference of them. And the way I learned was I was like, why is this node not helping me? Oh, it's invocation. And like that's how you get game knowledge from my end, right?
It's true.
Like, yeah, you can be boring, you can watch YouTube videos, you can watch builds, and yeah, that may be the most efficient way.
You're not getting people on your side.
I know chat's against me here, and I understand, and I get it.
You're not getting certain other people who might be watching on your side either. I'm gonna keep that very ominous. Yeah, I'm not a big build planner either. I like freeballing it, and every time you make a mistake, you learn from said mistake, and that is the way I learned in Path of Exile 1 and how I've loved learning in Path of Exile 2. And honestly, you have a lot more room in Path of Exile 2 to make mistakes. Trust me, man, in Path of Exile 1, it was such a different beast too, because the gem system was so much more unforgiving. Respecking wasn't a thing. Basically, if you bricked your build in Path of Exile 1 maybe 2 years ago, you'd have to just restart your character. That's not the case in Path of Exile 2, and I'm honestly a big fan of how they've designed that. You have a lot more space to fail. The only thing that is a little stingy right now is gems at certain breakpoints, but that's the only big blocker that I recall, and obviously I crashed out about that last league. Hopefully that won't happen this league. Otherwise, yeah, making mistakes it's the way to go. That's the way to go.
Yeah, it is. And actually, I'm gonna be honest. That's one of the reasons I don't play Path of Exile 1. It's WASD. It's like WASD, and it's also that all your skills are tied to your armor because you have to socket it into the armor. And I saw myself wanting to change my build over and over and over. I'm a person who doesn't like to change times, and I just could not play like that. Right.
Yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
And the socket system.
Yeah.
It takes some getting used to. 100%.
Exactly.
Okay, so you're starting Spirit Walker, Huntress, or Facebreakers if you find it. You're gonna try to make this wild build work.
100%.
I rolled a wheel. I spun a wheel, actually.
I spun a
wheel. Martial artist, brother. Martial artist. It was fate. It was totally fate.
Yeah. Okay.
Because that's exactly what I wanted to play most. I put it, I think, 7 different builds on there. I'm going martial artist. I'm going to do bells with falling thunder, maybe swap to ice strike, shattering prop. We'll have to see. It'll be really interesting, but I will be doing it all in SSF, and my goal isn't just to do 1 character to endgame this league. I'm going to try to get 3, and the 3 that I really want to push is martial artist. I'm going to try to find face breakers and make a face breakers build too, because that does look so fun. It really does. And then a wyvern build, which is what you played last league. Although I will not be doing a cast on ailment, cast on crit wyvern build. That's not happening.
It's so beautiful. I know it got nerfed. It got nerfed in this patch notes. Flame Breath is now Treatable Incinerate for at least generating energy, which is unfortunate, but I understand the reason why. I have a lot of clips of my previous build, abusing that system. And I understand. And I get it. All right.
It destroyed my PC.
Are you doing Hollow Palm with your martial artist, or are you going to do quarterstaff?
I'm going to have to see. I think it's going to depend on whether or not I get a good quarterstaff drop. I think I'll probably level the Hollow Palm, and then if I get a GG quarterstaff, I'll unspec it, because it's fine. I'm not pathing anywhere crazy going to Hollow Palm.
Yeah.
I did really like the feel, just the general feel of the fists. So we'll have to see. I actually want to try to make that culling build work with the chaos damage gloves. There's a new glove set that increases the culling threshold on enemies.
Yeah.
And you can stack increase to culling threshold and eventually cull normal enemies at like 100% life, which is cool. And then magic enemies are much higher, same with uniques. So maybe I'll try something like that too. But SSF. So I play with what I get. I might be swapping builds quite often. We'll see.
You're going to have to basically treat Path of Exile 2 how OG Terraria players treat the game.
Yeah.
You're going to have to farm for very specific bosses for those very specific uniques.
Maybe.
Go ahead and enable your builds.
Well, in PoE too, though. But I don't even think so, because I don't think Monk. I mean, I used Hands of Wisdom in action on my Monk in 0-3. Or was that 0-1? I can't remember. I don't think in PoE too, at least for the way I play, I don't need specific uniques. I can make everything work with rare items. That's why I'm playing SSF, actually, because I realized that I don't need to blast all the bosses in 2 seconds. I like the longer fights if I can take them. So my goal is just to down the bosses. And if I can do that in SSF and it's just a little slower, I'm good with that, especially because I'm going to be earning everything myself. I think that's going to be a lot more fun. But we'll see if I end up suffering. Yeah, it'll be all live. So
if you down the Pinnacles, your goal in this league, see yourself migrating your characters
to trade?
Yeah.
No, they'll just live in SSF forevermore. Yeah, because there's going to be resets too, bro. There might be a new league in 3 months.
So that's actually something I heard, but I didn't get the details on. And I'm sorry for, I guess, getting informed right now. But like, they're going to do an economy reset in 3 months?
They don't know if it's going to be 3 months, but they're going to do big balance changes leading up to 1.0. It could be 1, 2, 3. I think 2 is probably what it's going to be, but they said they're going to do resets. leading up to 1.0. So it could be like 2 months from now, could be 3 months. I would imagine it might be like 2.5 months from now, and then another one, maybe a month and a half out from ExileCon. So, but they're going to be focused not on content necessarily, but balance. They did say unique items could be added, ascendancy classes could be added, but it's not going to be a new league. There's not going to be new endgame revamps.
Are they going to do a full reset on the characters?
I don't know if they're going to like delete the league, or if they'll just start a new one that you could also run alongside it. We'll have to see.
Interesting.
Yeah. It'll be different. It will. I'd imagine they'd delete the old one actually, if they want a true reset.
They just migrate all the characters into standard.
Honestly. And then just start with, because balance is going to be their focus. I think they said 2/3 of their dev effort between now and launch are going to be going into full on balance. So expect a lot of changes.
So now CastOnComet's gonna get hit, and now Comment's gonna get hit. I don't really think so.
But I don't even know. Yeah, bro, I don't even know if they're gonna nerf that.
Yeah.
I think they might be fine with it. I'll never play it. It's too much visual vomit for me. I just can't.
Do you think they'll resolve item rarity in those patches?
No, I don't. I think item rarity, they sounded almost like they were pushing back again. Not pushing back, but almost like, let's just leave it. You know, they're adding the Atlas Masters, I think, a very interesting mechanic that are game changing in the end game. And I think that's an infinitely expandable system. Obviously, we're starting with Jado, Hilda, and Doriani, but they can keep adding on to that, and they can really allow people to learn into certain play styles with that. So I think they can make other targeted additions or changes. Like somebody just mentioned that Gravebinds was gutted. So group play or magic finding was essentially slammed into the ground, as far as I'm aware from my limited knowledge. So I think they might be doing that instead of just dumpstering it as a stat.
Yeah. Because I don't think item rarity is an issue, and I think that these new Atlas Ascendancy classes, or these new Atlas classes, they're giving weaker mechanics more fuel, right? Because like back in 0.4, the way to make money by bossing wasn't to really boss it. It was to go to deadly bosses, do the desert interlude, the mansion interlude, like the Act 1, the interludes, and then also the Act 4 boss to farm those support gems, right?
Yeah.
I really like them adding more
You're good.
More to powerful bosses and making them actually farmable. Because honestly, I kill a powerful boss, and the most exciting thing that drops is a Waystone.
Yeah. Hilda for the win, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be using Hilda quite a bit.
That's gonna be very interesting to see what we can do with Hilda, right? How can Hilda affect my farm? So that'd be pretty cool. I'm excited for that. I have my eyes on a different Ascendancy class.
Oriani?
It's the guy, whoever has the exceptional item
Jado.
base.
That's Jado.
Jado.
Yeah.
There is some really cool stuff you can do with exceptional item bases. And last league, I really got invested in negative item rarity farming. And negative item rarity farming, in my opinion, is the exact reason why item rarity is not a problem. Because it's mediocre. It's good if you invest into it, or it's good if you if you invest into the opposite way. It's a pendulum, right? Yeah. So I think it's really cool. I'm really excited for that, and that's actually why I'm going Huntress, because my league starter is going to be companions or minions or facebreaker, any in death comments, right? But then in the end game, I'm going to switch over to an actual negative item rarity.
Of course, the ritualist gonna get Banter's Gamble.
That's why it's a Huntress.
Right. Okay.
Banter's Gamble. One of my favorite uniques.
Okay. So item rarity wasn't changed that much. Okay.
Yeah.
Something that was changed is crafting. There was obviously the stealth, the secret, the hidden patch note slipped in after the only dev interview of the league, after the Ziggy D main dev interview. And GGG unleashed hell upon the Path of Exile 2 community. I thought it was an overreaction, but I'm also not a Giga crafter. I talked to some really smart people, and they essentially said it was a nerf to day 1, day 2 crafting, making GG weapons. And That's their thoughts. My thought was instantly, well, there's going to be way more ways to add power to your gear with this league. There's all this new stuff they're adding. Well, that's probably what they made room for it. They didn't want people to make super OP stuff with this essence crafting method, so they added this change. What's your whole take on it? Because I know you actually have crafted quite a bit, you know?
Yeah. When I was first informed of this crafting change, Try over here was like, yeah, you can either use essences or desecration. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so bad. It's so bad. It's terrible. However, it has now been revised. You can use desecration and essences, and they're no longer the same thing. And honestly, I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm pretty okay with it because, yeah, on the first couple days, you go for that, like, you get that physical damage on your Talism, and then you go ahead and get that +5 item levels on your weapon, and then you have a decent weapon, right? I think that kind of maybe kills Endgame a little.
What?
Right? It kind of like Essence is well. Here's the thing. Right? Here's the thing.
The change kills Endgame.
No. The ability to stack essences a little bit because you get to Endgame, you get your item base, you do some mediocre crafting, and now you can keep that item base until you get like your super expensive item base, right? There's no other reason to keep crafting because essences was so powerful in that first couple days, right? I mean, shoot, my Wyvern build is still using an essence-based crafted item, and it's able to do all the pinnacles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I thought it was a good. I just from my like the big thing I want to improve this league is my game knowledge, but from my limited knowledge, it just made sense that it was a precautionary measure. One, so that there was room for all the other modifiers and crafting methods that are coming into the game, and two, to make sure that people didn't, like you just said, get too strong gear too fast with this pretty reliable method of just essence slamming. Yeah. I won't say determinate. It's pretty, it's
very close, very close.
So I'm an advocate of it. People need it to be nerfed a little bit. Anyway, there's a lot of player power in the game.
And here's the thing, right? It is actually kind of crazy what they've done with crafting with the other changes to crafting, right? Because everyone's like, oh, essences, whatever, right? Omen of Corruption's gone.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
More bricked items.
That means more bricked items at mirror tier level crafting, right? Val orbs, the way they actually reroll the stats on your item is now less random and more deterministic. That's going to make unique crafting a little bit easier for certain items. So there's definitely going to be a shakeup in like how to craft, right? Because I'm worried. I think about Venter's Gamble right now. And the effective cost of Venter's Gamble to get it where I need it to be in order to use a Val Orb is around maybe 59 Divine Orbs. Plus you need to do some other omens of ritual omens. I don't know how they cost.
That was 0.4 econ though.
Just Divine Slamming, you can go and do that. Yeah, I know it's 0.4 econ, but like now I have a way to actually calculate, okay, now it's effective value. And now it's actually easier to get that, like, you know, 30% reduction in item rarity.
Right.
That's way easier. Past league, it was 4 mirrors to buy that thing, or 2 mirrors, depending on when you were buying it, and also the resistances on that weapon, on that rain.
Yeah. The crafting will be so interesting, man. I'm pumped to like learn everything, especially with the new the Alder mechanic. I really hope those special runes aren't too rare. I really hope. I want some of those cool mods and to experiment with them. I like that.
I think that a majority of the runes are going to be accessible, but there's going to be a couple where you just will not find them.
Okay, so I mentioned what I really want to improve this league. I really want to focus on learning all the game systems. That's why, going to SSF, I want to learn every single new system in the game, learn how to progress myself without relying on trade. I don't want to just say, you know what, I can't move forward. I'm just going to spend a couple divines and get all the gear I need. I want to use the Genesis tree to get some cracked jewelry. I want to go to Ritual to target farm the proper uniques I need. Go to a expedition and to the south and sail the seas, get the proper soctals, right? To build my character.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you have anything specific, just as like a player, that you want to iterate on, just as GGG has been iterating on so many systems in PoE 2?
Yeah, of course. I want so it's gonna be a bit my apologies. It's gonna be broad, okay? Excuse me. All right. I want to learn the other parts of the passive skill tree
Mm.
because I have played Monk, Huntress, Ranger for the past all the leagues. I did play a Witch to Endgame, but that was after my league starter, and I just bought items to get farther in the campaign, right?
Yeah.
I want to learn the other side of the skill tree. Never got a Warrior to Endgame. Never played Druid so far. I played Mercenary. I stopped at Act 2. Never got Act 2. Never got past Act 2 with Mercenary before. I want to learn those parts of the passive skill tree. And I want to see how jank I can make them.
What? What?
How I need it. I need to be jank. I need it to find out. I need it to be jank, brother.
Let's roll a wheel. Let's roll a wheel. Ascendancy skill combo. Make it jank.
Ascendancy skill combo. Because like ready for one of my plans, right?
Okay.
I want to play a warrior that has allocated the avatar of fire that goes ahead and tries to use a way to cast Comet.
Oh no! What are you doing? It
always comes back to Comet. Okay, but imagine a cold spell that just does fire damage. See?
Oh, bro, I just can't. I feel like you're handicapped. You're tying yourself to this skill, and you shouldn't.
I'm not tying myself.
You should rename yourself to Cast On. You should just get rid of Comet.
No. Comet is such a cool skill. I don't care what the haters say.
There's no haters. It's just me.
It's
just me, dude. There's no haters. It's me. It's me. It's not you. I'm just trying to tell you Comet is.
How can I get you to play Comet?
There's no way. I just won't. It does not look fun.
How?
I think if you tried a why can't you just be normal?
Build.
If you just tried a normal build, you would love it so much, man. I mean, you had a little bit of a glimpse of a normal build doing the speed run, right? With Rend Tech. Well, wasn't that cool? Like if I got you on like a grenades merc, okay? I just feel like you would love it.
So actually a really cool thing about that is that if we go crit with the grenades, it's a lot of average damage, and that can actually trigger CastOnComet pretty easily.
I'm about to lose it. I'm about to lose it right now. Oh gosh. Okay, well that's a lofty goal, but you also had something in our notes that you didn't mention.
Let's see here.
You want to make some jank builds.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the? You want to get a certain item? You're gonna go for a certain item.
Hold up. So let me back up here.
Oh, we're okay.
I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to ask you a question, Tri.
No.
Have you ever had a Mirror of Kalandra?
No, because I don't play the div per hour game, and I have not been lucky enough. I will never get a Mirror of Kalandra.
One of my goals this league is become so wealthy and to have Mirror of Kalandra. I just want a Mirror of Kalandra. And the reason for that is to funnel and to fund the jankest builds possible.
Oh,
my goal this league is to have 6 characters to Endgame, and all 6 characters use Comet in some sort of way or fashion. That is it. I'm going to play the economy as hard as possible, as much as possible, just so I can go ahead and fund my fire damage Comet on Warrior. And yes, I understand. It's terrible. I understand. Don't worry. I am 10 paces ahead of you. I understand how bad it is. But guess what? I want to do it. And this is my goal for Path of Exile 2.
My brother also isn't saying that he has paternity leave upcoming during this league. So, and his son is a wonderful sleeper. So what my brother's saying is, while his son sleeps and he gets to use the rest of his paternity leave, he gonna be grinding away Playing some Path of Exile too. That's right.
This is my only chance.
This is my
only chance to really do this, right? And of course, my son comes first, right? Of course, it always comes first. You can't. Path of Exile 2 has a pause button. That is very important for both of our time in life right now, right? The pause button it's a requirement. I can't play without it. All right. However, when he is sleeping, I'll be grinding.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. There we go.
I wish you so much luck in your endeavor. This is quite the challenge that you are embarking on. I hope you can get a mirror. It would be legendary. I mean, like I said, I've never been anywhere close to a mirror. I don't even think I've been 10% of the way to a mirror in any league that I've played Path of Exile 1 or 2. So that is like joining the top 0.01% club if you are able to obtain one, especially if it's like via trade or farming. But I assume the best way to do this is by playing the market, like you said. So are you like training up in anything, or are you going to just come up with strategies yourself?
So during this entire time that we've been playing, so for the remaining time of 0.4, I've been trying to understand what items increase in value over time during a market. What items are people not really looking at or paying attention? As player numbers decrease in a league, what items become more valuable as that league progresses, right? So I've been doing that sort of research, honestly. I've been doing a lot of data collection and trying to understand like what's going on there. Yeah. And I'm also trying to figure out, all right, Temple is going to be dead. I get that.
Maybe.
What is the other better methods to go ahead and farm beyond Temple, right? How can we substitute Temple's absence, right? Because like last league, if you wanted to mirror Calandra, you could have done it in a week.
Right.
You really could have.
Unfair though.
Right.
Unfair,
not
right?
Real.
Not real.
This is a more normal league. Let's get the mirror of Calandra. All right. Okay. That's my goal.
Yeah, sick. I think that's a great goal. I'm just gonna try to down some bosses in SSF, and you're gonna get the most valuable item in the entire game with 6 jank builds. I bet you can do it, dude. Now, before we close out talking about 0.5, okay, we raced against each other. Okay, and we have not met publicly since that race ended. Now, I gave my thoughts earlier. I crushed you. What was your whole perspective on the race before I gave you the postmortem? Because there were a lot of things I didn't realize even when we watched the race and recapped, listened to Crimson casting it, right? Quite a bit in that race. So what's your dissection of it, brother?
I think Crimson actually had the best dissection of that race, where in your interview with him, you were like, man, my brother was so good. He deserved the win. And then Crimson responded saying, neither of you deserved the win. And man, I look back at that race and I'm like, truer words have never been spoken on that podcast. Oh man. I made so many rookie mistakes during that speed run, but playing that speed run and going through that process of trying to learn Act 1, even though it's changing, it's going to help me in further campaign playthrough, right? If you want to get to endgame as fast as possible, do speed runs, because you're going to learn how to actually progress through the game. You're going to learn how important damage is. Why did I lose that speed run against you? Because I had a blue item at Gianor.
What are you doing,
I couldn't
dude?
find anything. I know. Crazy. It was so bad. It was so bad. Luna's loot, the 2 points I would have gotten from the loot didn't really matter. It was +5 strength and something that didn't actually really add too much damage there, right? It was the talisman not being a rare item, because that's just so much damage off the game right there. And then it's the flask not being upgraded. And also it's not understanding where the guaranteed drops were dropping. I had forgotten that an elk orb dropped in like one of the Val Temple locations.
Yep.
That would have saved me the game. I didn't realize that the witch in the woods drops a support gem.
Oh no.
I didn't. I thought it was just the flask.
Oh
so
really?
It was, to me, it was skippable. Yeah. I just didn't know.
Bro, did you even practice? What are you doing?
I did practice. I practiced once. I told you this.
Oh my gosh. Now, what he's not saying is that he was also playing on a hotspot. Okay, so he had lag spikes.
Gosh.
Although somebody in chat counted, it was 47 seconds of freeze. So I beat you by 3 minutes. It would not matter. So
it not mattered.
I mean, it still gets the vibes in you, you know. So it kind of shook you up a little bit. But we definitely are gonna race again at the end of 0.5, and we're gonna ask Crimson if he wants to cast it. But I think we'll both be much better players at that point, and obviously the game will be very, very different by the time we race again.
It will be. And I'm going to be honest, Crimson, I hope after that race, you won't feel like you have to say that neither of us deserved a victory.
Yeah, that's the hope. That's 100% the hope. Now,
that's the hope.
I will have everybody know that we were talking about the race on Memorial Day with my dad. And my dad said, oh, well, I've been practicing twisters. And guys, I got a 40, what did he say? 40-minute act
40, one? I think a 43 or 48.
43-minute act 1. And we were like,
yeah,
whoa, Dad, that's insane. How did you do? There's not real. Kim, go show me your slash played right now. And so we kind of questioned him about it a little bit. He's trying twisters, right? Following Guy That Dies. And he's like, oh, well, I have Local Holes Guide up on one screen, and Guy That Dies does the speed run, and I'm just copying what he does. And then he says, and why does GGG give you gold when you start an SSF now? And both Comet and I look at each other, and we're like, you don't get gold. And he's like, what do you mean? I started with 53,000 gold, and I could just buy everything in the vendor. I bought, all the armor, all the weapons every time. Una in this run had 2 iron rings, and we're like, well, that's very low odds. What's going on there? And he's like slamming it with all the currency, and come to realize he's not migrating all. So he's doing these practice runs and buying all the gear from shop, and he got GG gear that one run and was just able to insta-give everything he ran it to. So I just kept moving. Pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, like, man, that's a pretty good speed run there. If you're just like you get to town and you have 53,000 gold, man, you farmed Clearfell. You farmed the shores.
I know. Yeah, it was good.
Man, that was a good one.
Yeah.
I wanna mention something. We did not realize that Fubgun was watching our speed run, and then during his casting of our speed run, he said, yeah, CastOnComet was coached by Guy That Dies, and then Try was coached by Enormous. We were not coached.
Oh, yeah, we were coached.
We were not coached. This was us just trying our fastest way to go through. The closest I got to coaching was asking Crimson Cast, hey, I am struggling. I need to beat my brother. I need to make him wear cat ears. I'm doing this with Druid. Give any suggestions. And he was so kind enough to go ahead and say, hey, here's a better layout. Here's what you can be doing. And that's actually what I did. I got the Ren play from him. And really
we actually had 5,500 viewers watching the race. And that I think Fub must have been confused with a race that occurred a week and a half, 2 weeks before the Creator Cup. Yeah, we didn't get coached. I mean, Angor was offered very kindly, but I was like, I don't have the time. Well, I'll have the time before the next race, Angormas. We're totally going to practice.
Hold up. You're getting coached here?
Yeah. So it's going to be pretty interesting. But yeah, we literally raw dogged it. I practiced twice, and my brother, on that build, you practiced once, right?
I did, on that build, I practiced once.
And let the record show, my brother's record was 1 hour and 10 minutes, and you beat it in what was it, 57?
57 minutes.
That's good. That's bringing down your time. 13 minutes.
Yeah. Yep.
Excellent. So you killed it. You killed it, man.
Yeah,
okay.
I had a fun time.
Well, let's wrap this up with just a gunshot straight to you from me. I don't know what I'm saying. What one thing, if you can distill down your excitement and hype for 0.5 to one feature coming into the game, man, what would it be?
Oh, man. The Ascendancy Atlas classes. That is what I'm most excited for, because I don't know if you remember a conversation. I was harping on you, being like, we need the ability to specialize in farming methods. And they delivered in one of the most unique fashions I think we could have ever come up with.
You didn't even mention the Grand Project on Doriani.
Wait, Grand Project was there? On Doriani? I didn't see that part.
Bro, he didn't even look at he didn't even watch the video, guys. You call yourself a creator.
I had 3 minutes.
Creator. Yeah, dude. There's a.
You call me a creator. I have 0 videos right now.
There is a node on Doriani where there's a 10% chance once you complete a map to basically have a grand project effect on all the surrounding maps. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, it's not. No, that's not a bingo, brother. No, because it's not on all towers.
So item rarity finally being addressed?
No, it wasn't addressed.
Actually, hold on.
No bingo.
Yeah, oh man.
No bingo.
That would have been a bingo.
Yeah, but the grand project is on Doriani in a way. So you might want to watch that Atlas Master video again. It might excite you even more about the Atlas Masters. And
I do.
Can you guess mine? I'm curious if you know mine.
Oh, your Atlas Master you're gonna be doing?
No, what I'm most excited for. I mean, come on, you got to know me. We grew up in the same house. We lived together for 21 years.
Dude, no, you're putting pressure on.
21 years. I've said it on stream. I've said it in interviews that you literally watched. If you had chat open, chat knows, but you don't have chat open.
Knows.
Yeah.
I don't have chat open here.
So does my own chat know me better than my brother?
Probably. I sometimes I just zone you out, you know? All right.
Yes, I lived with mommy until 21. I saved up money so we could buy this house I'm sitting in right now. Oh, yo. Yes. I did live with mommy.
Okay. Your most exciting feature. I think it's the you're killing me here, all right?
Come on.
I have 2 guesses. It's be martial artist, or it's gonna go ahead and be the redo of the actual pinnacle. Of the actual pinnacles. So the mapping and the stronghold during that. I think those.
Oh, dang! I bought a house at 22. My favorite. I'm excited for the bosses, dude. The new boss fights look insane.
That's what I said.
No, you didn't. You said the Atlas Pinnacle. You didn't even make a coherent answer.
Yeah, the Atlas Pinnacle.
You get new music.
The Divinity people.
No, all the bosses. You get new music with every single one. New arenas, new boss abilities, new storylines attached to every single boss, new unique items. I am beyond excited, and I'm going in blind, and I'm going to try to down those. And when you get to a pinnacle, you freaking text me on Discord and this thing, and make sure I'm watching you, because it's so exciting watching each other fight the bosses for the first time and seeing who wins.
So I need to push back on this a little bit. You said, what are you most excited for? Inferring one thing. You just said everything.
No, I didn't. No.
Bosses. All
Pinnacle
the bosses.
You said Pinnacle Atlas Masters. How many Atlas Masters are there, Comet?
There's 3, but it's a whole
feature. Well, there you go.
This is like 4 different features.
No. Oh, look at that. And you can make sure you film your boss kills as your first video CastOnComet, because that YouTube channel, almost at 200 subscribers, but there's 0 videos on it, which is kind of funny.
I just want to say right now, for the people out there, I am working on a video, and I have had to retake the footage 3 separate times because of misconfigurations in OBS. Because I'm just dumb. I just don't know how to do this stuff.
No, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah, so I do want to do some stuff. Come 0.5, I want to be doing some more video stuff. Not as intense as Try over here. All right, Try is pretty good at it. I just want to have fun.
I do slop videos. It's okay. Fine. I just record myself talking. One day I'll get out another video essay. The last video essay I released was not met with applause. So I'm like gun shy. I am gun shy on releasing another video essay. We'll see.
I think the main thing for me is that if I release a video, I want it to be something of worth and not something that I feel like doesn't add value in either humor or an actual, like, someone would want to listen to it and actually understand what I'm trying to say. Like, I want to feel like I can contribute something to the community rather than just shout and try to be heard, right?
100%. That's what I really tried to do initially with my channel, and it's so fascinating to see, because I was like the Path of Exile 2 news guy, right? Nobody else was doing it. My videos were hitting stupid numbers. I was at almost no subs, and they're hitting like 70,000 views, 80,000, 90, 100, 100. And then so many other people came after launch. and it became so much more saturated. And it's interesting because do you stay doing what you were before, what you were providing value with before, or do you try to pivot to something else that no one else is doing? And, you know, I think if I would have done this full time, I would have tried to pivot more to something nobody else was doing. And I did kind of try to do that with the podcast, right?
Yeah.
But even now, you know, people started doing the news. I was like, all right, I want to do something new that provides value to the community. I'm going to interview creators, all types of creators, get their perspective. Now podcasts have popped up. Now there's like 6 or 7 other podcasts, and it's great. But it's just interesting. Now, do I pivot again to something else? I think like Schwingy, for example, makes the best Path of Exile 2 content in this space, and nobody else really does what he does. Like, he does the challenge runs, the wheel spins, and he takes like 2 weeks to a month per video, and they're so good, so high quality, tight script, tight editing, great ideas, and nobody else really does them. So he has a stranglehold on that entire market. Like, that's exactly what kind of happened with my content. And now, you know, I'm left in the space where, exactly like you, I could pivot to try to do something else that provides value and try to capitalize on that. But it's like a ever-shifting game. And that's kind of behind the scenes just for everybody, the viewers watching. Like, the podcasts, absolute numbers on launch in 0.2, in 0.3. What happened in 0.4? Other people started podcasts. And now the views are lower. They're more dispersed. You know, like Dreamcore's podcast has absolutely popped off, the one he does with Palstron. Then there's the Path to Exile podcast. There's Blazeworks podcast, right? So now it's more saturated, and it's like, okay, what's the next big idea? And honestly, right now, I'm like, well, I'm freaking zonked. I have kids and the work, and I don't know if I have another next big idea. So I'm going to just try to learn more about the game and just hone my existing content. Yeah, but you're totally right. Like, providing value and entertainment and feeling like you're contributing is so important. And feeling as though you're doing something different that nobody else is doing is also, that's how you get discovered. And I think that is what happened with my channel. But it's not in that place anymore. So I hope you can find something. I think you have some good ideas.
Yeah, I hope you know what? I hope I do, and I hope that people find them to be fun videos to watch or to engage with. I hope I can produce that content, because honestly, at the end of the day, it's really all dependent upon the viewer and the listener.
The viewer and the what? You cut out.
The viewer and the listener. I need to speak louder this mic,
no, it's
man.
just no. You just need to get a little closer. That's it. Because yeah, not that close, bro. I mean, that's good. That sounds great. But it looks weird. So you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't go like this into the microphone. No, don't do that.
Okay, you can't go like.
No, don't. Okay, good thing you're not like a big creator, bro, because that would be the new 7TV emote. Literally, the entire GIF going like this. Like, this is so bad, dude. Like, if I did that, it would be so over. It would be over for me. I think
you just did.
No, I didn't. It would be like try glaze wide or something, you know, and just gosh, no. Okay. Well, everybody, thank you so much for tuning into the very first live Brothers of Exile episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you're watching the VOD on YouTube and you made it all the way to the end, if you haven't already, make sure you give it a like. That really helps both of us in the algorithm. Leave a comment and make sure you go check out CastOnComet's YouTube channel, which is currently more barren than the Sahara Desert. Someday it will have some videos.
Facts.
On it. It is facts. So have a great night.
Yes.
I'll talk to you later, bro.